Safety definition. Safety. The condition of being protected from or unlikely to cause danger, risk, or injury. Fire. Fire is a chemical reaction involving rapid oxidation or burning of a fuel. It needs 3 elements to occur. Fuel. Fuel can be any combustible material, solid, liquid, or gas. Most solids and liquids become a. Oxygen. Oxygen. The air we breathe is about 21% oxygen. Fire only needs an atmosphere with at least 16% oxygen. Heat. Heat is the energy necessary to increase the temperature of the fuel to a point where sufficient vapors are given off for ignition to occur. Flash point. Flash point is the lowest temperature at which a fuel produces enough vapors to ignite in the presence of a heat source. Dust. Dust consists of solid particles and is created by such operations as grinding or sieving of solid materials, controlled detonations and various drying processes. Fumes. Fumes are finely particulate solids which are created by condensation from a vapor, very often after a metal has been converted to the molten state. Fumes are usually highly toxic. Gases. Gas is the formless chemical which occupies the area in which it is enclosed. There are many toxic gases used in industry, such as chlorine. Mist. Mist consists of finely suspended droplets formed by condensation from a gas or the atomizing of a liquid or from aerosols. Vapors. Vapors are the gaseous form of a solid or a liquid. Rise in temperature causes the vaporization. Examples are organic solvent vapors. Liquid. Liquid is a typical example of a liquid, can be in other forms as droplets or aerosols. Very toxic. Substances and preparations which in very low quantities cause death or acute or chronic damage to health when inhaled, swallowed or absorbed via the skin. Toxic. Toxic substances and preparation that in low quantities cause death or acute or chronic damage to health when inhaled, swallowed or absorbed via the skin. Corrosive. Corrosive are substances and preparations that may on contact destroy living tissues. Density. The density of a material is defined as the mass of 1 cubic meter of material. Density equals mass/volume. Specific gravity. We can therefore say that any liquid that will not dissolve, not miscible, in water, with a specific gravity higher than 1, will sink, whilst those with a specific gravity lower than 1 will float on top. For example, 1 cubic meter of water, 1,000 liters, weighs 1,000 kilograms. 1 cubic meter of aviation gasoline, 1,000 liters, weighs 720 kilograms. Heat. Heat is a form of energy. Heat can be produced by chemical means, for example, by burning aviation fuel, or by mechanical means, by friction. Passing electric current through a resistor also produces heat, as in an electric fire. Element. Substances that consist of only one type of atom are known as elements. For example, carbon. Molecules. If an element consists of more than one of the same type of atom, chemically bound together, it is known as a molecule. Oxygen. The term molecule can also be used to describe a substance that is made up of more than one type of atom. Water is example. Compound. A mixture is a term used to describe a substance that is made up of more than one type of molecule. For example, water. Combustion. Combustion is a chemical process. For it to occur, oxygen, usually from the air, must combine with a fuel. A fuel is any substance that will burn and may be in any one of the 3 states, solid, liquid or gas. for example smoldering or flaming. Organization culture. Shop floor representatives, supervisors and managers who meet to discuss general health and safety matters affecting the company. Attitude. A person's point of view, or their way of looking at something. Mistakes or errors. Doing the wrong thing, believing it to be right. Influence of peer group. A peer group is a group of individuals of a similar age or background with whom a person mixes in a social context. Workplace group. The workplace group is such a group and we behave in accordance with the collective, accepted behavior of the group. Communication. Communication is defined as imparting, conveying or exchanging information, ideas or opinion by the use of speech, written, or graphics. Written communication. Written a postal service or a notice board. Oral or verbal communication. Oral or verbal, spoken, a personal interview or telephone system. Notices, posters, films. Used to draw attention to hazards and risks or safe practices and measures, need to be eye-catching and relevant. Toolbox talks. A development of safety briefings and deal with specific issues at the workplace. Employee handbook. Key document laying out company policy and certain procedures, effective as part of induction training. Investigation. The purpose of an investigation is primarily to find the cause, with the intention of preventing a recurrence, rather than to blame. Reactive monitoring. Reactive monitoring, which is used in the investigation of accidents, incidents or dangerous occurrences after. Proactive monitoring. Proactive monitoring, which involves checking that standards, practices, procedures and system are being complied with before. Maintenance inspections. Inspections involve examining, testing and making repairs, adjustments to such items, often specified by the manufacturer or supplier. Safety inspection. A formal inspection by a team of inspectors who go round an area or section of work to check on standards, for example floor condition, HK, warning signs, fire equipment. Safety survey. An in-depth examination of specific procedures such as the introduction of new equipment, or investigating a rise in accident or incident rate. Chemical hazard. Liquids, dusts, fumes, mists. Biological hazards. Exposure to bacteria, viruses and fungi. Physical hazard. Mechanical, noise, radiation, heat etc. also includes ergonomic factors. Psychological hazards. Refers to mental stress. Safe work system. A safe system of work is a formal procedure which results from systematic examination of a task in order to identify all the hazards. Permit to work. A permit to work can be described as a formal document giving written authority to carry out specific work. Hot work. Any work that increases the risk of fire and explosion by the introduction of an ignition source, such as welding, flame cutting, use of electrical equipment may be subject to a permit to work system. First aid. First aid is the immediate care given to victims of an accident or illness before qualified medical assistance arrives. Crushing. Crushing is where the body or part of the body is caught between two moving parts of the machine or between moving and static objects such that they meet together. Shearing. Shearing is where two parts of the machine are moving together to a situation where one moves over the top of the other. Cutting and severing. Cutting and severing is where a sharp-edged part of the machinery comes in contact with a person. As implied, It is a similar effect to what happens when someone cuts himself with a knife. Entanglement. Entanglement is associated with a single rotating part of a machine. Usually an item of clothing gets caught on the rotating part and the person is drawn rapidly to the machine. Drawing or trapping. Drawing in or trapping is where the body is caught between two moving parts and drawn into machine. Impact. Impact is where a powered part of the machine hits the person. Stabbing or punctured. Stabbing or puncture is caused by some sharp part of the machine or process penetrating the person. Friction or abrasion. Friction or abrasion is caused by coming into contact with a fast-moving surface. Fixed guard. These are guards with no moving parts designed to prevent access by enclosing the hazard. Typically, a fixed guard will require a tool, such as a spanner or screwdriver, to remove it. Risk. Risk can be defined as the likelihood that the harm from a particular hazard will happen. Risk reflects both the likelihood and severity of the harm. Risk equals likelihood x severity. Risk assessment. A planned layout of the workplace is essential if a safe place of work is to be provided. Objectives of risk assessment. We can identify three main reasons for assessing and managing risk. Moral. Moral reasons are based on the concept of preventing people being hurt or becoming ill. Legal. Employers have a legal duty to protect their employees. Economic. Accidents and ill health costs can be high in terms of sick pay, lost production, replacing damaged equipment, etc. Damage only. An incident that does not result in injury but property or equipment may be damaged. Health. Examples of illnesses that are reportable are poisonings, skin and lung disease, infections and occupational cancer. Danger occurrence. Non-injury incidents where there is serious potential for injury, such as a collapsing scaffold. Health risk hazard. Acute, causing immediate ill health after one exposure. Chronic, causing ill health after long-term exposure. Flammable gases. Flammable gases, such as methane, marsh gas, and carbon monoxide. Toxic gases such as hydrogen sulfide. Battering. Allows almost any excavation to be carried out safely without the need for a support system. Shoring. Shoring is artificial support for the side walls of an excavation. Health. Health includes material as well as physical health and relates to the protection of people, whether they are employees, contractors or visitors, from harm. Biological hazard. Biological hazards relate mainly to illness contracted from exposure to bacteria, viruses and fungi. Welfare. Welfare is concerned with the well-being and comfort of, primarily, employees. Environmental protection. Environmental protection relates to issues such as lighting, noise, heat, etc. Incident. Events that give to accidents or have the potential to lead to an accident. Accident. Accidents are undesired and unplanned events. They may cause personal injury or property damage or both. Dangerous occurrence. An event or situation that could harm employees at work, in such a way that there is a legal requirement to report it. Near miss. Any form of incident which could result in injury or loss but does not. Psychological problems. Psychological problems are diseases or injuries caused by exposure to dangerous substances or practices. Psychological problems. Psychological problems are stress-related and be due to traumatic events or exposure to workplace pressures. Hazard. A hazard can be defined as a situation with the potential to cause harm or danger. Harmful. Harmful substances and preparations that may death or acute or chronic damage to health when inhaled, swallowed or absorbed through the skin. Chemical. Chemical health hazards may be divided into the following groups. Carcinogenic. Substances and preparations which if inhaled or ingested or absorbed by the skin may induce cancer or increase its incidence. Irritant. Non-corrosive substances and preparations which through immediate, prolonged or repeated contact with the skin or mucous membrane may cause inflammation. Sensitizing. A substance or preparation that may cause an allergic reaction. Acute toxicity. This describes a condition where the quality of a toxic substance absorbed into the body process harmful effects very quickly, that is within seconds, minutes or hour. Chronic toxicity. The term chronic toxicity describes a condition where the harmful effects of a toxic substance absorbed into the body take a very long time to appear, months or perhaps years. Ammonia. A colorless gas with a pungent odor, soluble in water, a strong respiratory irritant and corrosive substance, either as a gas or when combined with water as a liquid. Entry is by inhalation into the lungs or absorption through the eyes or the skin. Chlorine. The basic ingredient of mustard gas but is also used in cleaning swimming baths and in chlorine tanks. The immediate effect is choking, but it may also damage the lining of the lungs. Carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide, CO, is a colorless, odorless, tasteless gas. It is found in combustion gases such as coal gas, car exhaust, producer gas, blast furnace gas and water gas. Isocyanides. Used to make adhesives, synthetic rubber, polyurethane paints and lacquers, and quick-drying printing inks. The most important industrial applications are in the manufacture of plastics and paints to make them harden quicker. Asbestos. Previously used as an insulation and fire-resistant material in building construction, it was also a common friction lining in machinery, brakes, clutch plates, etc. Silica. Silica is a naturally occurring element present in many stones, particularly sandstone, quartz and slate. It is a high toxic irritant when inhaled as a dust and can cause numerous chest and respiratory tract diseases. Leptospira. Rats are the primary cause of the disease. Confined space. Hepatitis. Hepatitis is a virus causing similar symptoms to viral disease: fever, jaundice, enlargement of the liver, hemorrhages and feverish relapses. It is contracted primarily through injection, although ingestion of infected substances may also be a route of entry. Local exhaust ventilation. Local exhaust ventilation operates by removing a contaminant at the point of generation and ducting it away in a flow to a safe place. Respirators. Respirators, which are designed to purify desirable air by inhaling it through a medium which removes the contaminants. Breathing apparatus. Breathing apparatus, which supplies pure desirable air from an uncontaminated source. Basic environmental issues. Pollution is the contamination or damage caused by human activity to the environment. It arises in respect of three aspects of the environment. Atmospheric pollution. Fumes, smoke and dust discharged into the air from incinerators, traffic exhausts or other byproducts of industrial processes. Water pollution. Liquid waste, effluent, comprising toxic substances such as detergents discharged into groundwater, rivers or seawater directly from sewers, factories or surrounding land, such as fertilizers being washed away from farmland by the rain. Land pollution. Solid waste from industrial processes deposits on land. Integrated Pollution Control, IPC, is a system established, and a part of the EPA, to control the release of polluting substances to air, land and water by industries. Control waste. Controlled waste defined as household, industrial and commercial waste or any substance which is scrap or is effluent or unwanted surplus from a process. Special waste. Special waste defined a waste which may be so dangerous or difficult to treat, keep or dispose of that special provision is required for dealing with it. Independent scaffold. An independent tied scaffold is designed to carry its own mass and the full load of all materials and workers used on the scaffold.
Please give comment and suggestions.
Thank you.
Subscribe our YouTube channel and hit the bell icon for more updates. Thank for visit our channel. See you next class.
Thank you.